Hello, I'm Roberto Escamilla, and I will be talking about the scenario and the three upper parts and the three lower parts that would be working in your brain along with one of the glands. In this case, you're home alone, you're playing video games or reading, drawing, etc. It does not matter what you're doing. You suddenly hear some sounds outside and inside your house. You freeze, start sweating, your heart begins racing and you don't know what to do, you don't know what to think. Is there someone trying to break in your house? Is there something that fell outside that's making that sound? Or is someone already in and it's not anybody that you know? Let's talk about it. We have the adrenal gland first. It is in our kidneys and helps us trigger our flight or fight response as it releases adrenaline and non-adrenaline. Those two types of adrenaline help enhance our strength and also our endurance. You usually see it when people crash and after that they're walking like they're just fine and then they just collapse, or when you see people lift very heavy things that they would normally not do otherwise. In this case, if you felt like you were in such an emergency situation, you would most likely be able to carry very heavy things to the door to barricade it in case someone was trying to break in. One of the other parts here working would be the limbic system. And the limbic system is in the lower brain and affects our emotions, one of them being fear, and helps us with detecting danger as well. And I'm pretty sure that if you're a paranoid person, hearing sounds inside and outside your house with nobody that you know close to you, it would probably inflict fear that there is something very wrong. At least that's what I would hope would happen. Then the part that is inside the limbic system, but is part of the lower brain, is the amygdala, which is the almond-shaped cluster that helps our emotions, that controls our emotions, such as anger and fear. In this case, fear would be at play with this. The limbic system, along with the amygdala, would be responsible for making us feel the fear. Then the last part I would be talking about that's in the lower brain would be the medulla, which controls our basic life functions, and those are in the sections of breathing, swallowing, circulation, and heartbeat. While this is usually always at work, I feel like it would be affected due to the anxiety and fear that we are feeling. Most likely because we would probably be hyperventilating, and our heartbeat would increase due to the anxiety and adrenaline, which would affect our circulation as well. And for swallowing, I think you'd probably be too caught up in whatever's happening to even care about that. Now that we have done with the lower parts of the brain, let's go up to the front ones. And probably by now you may be barricaded or rocking back and forth on your bed, covered in a blanket or on the floor in a corner, getting ready to call the police or your parents, or you're brave and you're trying to pull a Kevin from Home Alone 1 and 2 to whoever's trying to get in your house. But one of the parts here would be at work would be parietal lobes, which work with the association areas and somatory sensory cortex to process the information that's given. In this case, you would probably be processing the information that you're alone, anxious, there's noises, you might die, and that you need to do something now. Another part at work here would also be the frontal lobes, which help with decision making, basically also our judgment, and we as teenagers don't really have a developed frontal lobe yet by a lot, since they develop until we are 25 years old. And that also explains why we make such stupid decisions, like staying by yourself, but that's not always a stupid decision. I don't know. And I guess one of the things that it would help you do right now is to decide if you should call the police, your parents, or quietly go see if there's someone inside and outside, so that if you call the police, you don't get in trouble for just calling them and then nothing being wrong. And then the last part that has been working all along and kind of responsible for making all of this happen within you and your anxiety would be the temporal lobes, which are in charge of our auditory sense. Basically, they are responsible for us being able to hear, and since we heard those noises, we went danger mode, made us anxious, feel fear, and we are in this situation now. And if our auditory sense or temporal lobes had not been working during this, we wouldn't really be in this scenario at all and would still be minding our business on doing whatever we were doing with no anxiety overflowing with every ounce of our being. But anywho, that is all for this presentation. I hope that you are a bit informed of what your brain may be doing when this happens to you, if you're an anxious person at least. And thank you for your time.